Hey there, and welcome to the Happy Wife Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Grimion, certified coach, podcaster, mom of 3, and happy wife of 19 years. I help busy women in their 40s get their spark back in their marriages without any effort from their husbands. If you're ready to get happy and get the love and connection back that you desire, then you're in the right place. Here, I'll share tips and strategies that helped me go from meh in my marriage to thriving and more connected than ever before. Are you ready, friend? Grab a LaCroix and let's get started. Hey, friend, and welcome back to the Happy Wife Mentor Podcast. Today, I want to talk about something that I talk about a lot in my coaching with my clients, but can feel really confusing at first, and that is masculine and feminine polarity. You've probably heard a lot about these words floating around, maybe on the internet these days, polarity, masculine energy, feminine energy. They're kind of maybe a little bit buzzwords these days, but what do they actually mean? And more importantly, why does this matter in my marriage in 2025 and beyond? So that's what we're going to dive into today. And by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear understanding of what polarity is, how it shows up in your relationship, and how to start creating more of a spark, connection, and balance with your husband. I remember my husband saying at one time, why does this have to be so hard? Marriage should be easy. And I couldn't wrap my brain around a solution to his sentiment. I'm just thinking I don't know. But this topic that we're going to talk about today, this was the answer. So I'm so excited to dive in. What does polarity actually mean? So polarity is simply the natural attraction and tension between two complementary energies, masculine and feminine. So just like the positive and negative ends of a magnet attract, masculine and feminine energy attract when both are expressed clearly. Masculine energy is all about direction, structure, providing. And on the contrary, feminine energy is all about flow, receptivity, creativity, nurturing, and expression. Neither is better or worse. They're just designed to complement one another. So, what happens when polarity is missing in marriage? If both spouses are in their masculine, which is leading, controlling, deciding, making decisions, the result is either power struggles, which was my situation, tension, or constant conflict or arguments. Can anyone relate? Or is it just me? If both spouses are in their feminine, which is waiting, flowing, avoiding decisions, then the result in that scenario is lack of direction or stagnation or just frustration. Many modern marriages today get stuck because women step into hyper independence, which is kind of a cultural thing that we're being modeled and taught in this day and time. And we step into masculine mode, which is to get things done, right? We all have families. We have a lot of things going on. So we're stepping into that masculine mode, which leaves no room for your husband to step into his masculine and lead, which is what we all want, right? For our husbands to lead and take some of the load off of us. But what we don't realize is because we are just kind of unbeknownst to ourselves, because we're not aware of it due to cultural programming and maybe what we've been modeled from our mothers, we are in that masculine role. And so he's kind of checked out in a few areas potentially because, she's going to handle it, so I don't have to. And the spark fades when polarity is out of balance. So that's a big reason, ladies, why we're seeing so many divorces today in our society is because polarity is out of balance and there is conflict or there is distance. How can we restore polarity in our marriage? So the good news is polarity can be reignited. It starts with awareness and then making intentional shifts that we're going to talk about here. As a woman, you don't need to abandon your strength. This is not about becoming weak or becoming less than. But you can practice softening into your feminine energy And I'm going to talk about some ways to do that, which actually inspires your husband to step into his masculine. Practical shifts that you can make. Here's some shifts. Number one is receiving help instead of always giving or doing things yourself. Sometimes we do so much that we're not even giving our husbands a chance to do things for us. And when they feel like we don't need them, well, it's really uninspiring to a man because men want to feel needed. That's a form of respect. They want to feel that you do rely on them for certain things. And so when we are just bulldozing and doing everything ourselves, they kind of do check out because they don't feel needed. And that's stifling to a masculine man, which is what we want. Number two is to express your desires instead of making demands. A lot of this is just subtle shifts, but it really is so powerful. So instead of, hey, I booked a beach trip for spring break and we're going and we're staying 5 days. Okay, I guess we're going to the beach, right? Okay, instead of doing that, you can say, I would love to go to the beach for spring break. I have seen this in my marriage and with my husband, and I know that this is how men operate. I didn't really realize this before, but men want to make their wives happy. If they feel like their wife is not happy, they feel like failures. They don't feel like they are succeeding. And you may not believe this right now because things may be just shaky or he may be distant or cold and you're thinking, what? Not my husband. But I promise you, this is true. He wants to see you happy. Again, expressing our desires so that he can make some of these things happen versus bulldozing with, hey, this is what we're doing and this is when we're doing it, is going to go a long way and it's going to start to shift the polarity. And then a third thing you can do is let him make some decisions and say whatever you think. What that's going to do is that's going to show you that you trust him to make decisions and handle things. I know there was a story of a woman who made all the decisions in her marriage. To women that don't know about this polarity and magnetism, you would just think she's just an independent, strong woman. But her husband was checked out and they were on the brink of divorce. He came to her and said, hey, this cell phone bill, this plan needs to be updated. Just tell me, what do we need to do? Because he for sure didn't want to make the decision because number one, he knew it would be the wrong decision. And number two, he was just used to her making all the decisions and handling everything. And she just looked at him and said, whatever you think. And he was like, no, seriously, like, what do we need to do? And she said again, looked at him and said, whatever you think, I trust you. The story goes that night they got into bed together for the first time in a while, and he looked at her and he said, you were so nice to me today. And she realized that just that small shift just meant so much to him as far as respect and trust being given to him. And she started to see everything turn around. In summary, polarity is about energy. And when you understand how masculine and feminine energies complement each other, you can stop fighting against each other and start flowing with each other. And it starts to become easy. If you've been feeling like roommates or maybe even business partners instead of lovers, chances are that the polarity has gone missing. But the good news is that women are the keepers of the